I'm Greg DePalma, and you're listening to Dan Shonka's Scouting Section on the Our Lads Football Radio Network, where it's never too early to think about the NFL Draft. On this edition, Dan will get you up to speed on new San Francisco 49ers quarterback Jimmy Garappolo by recalling his original scouting report and how that plays into both Garappolos' time as Tom Brady's backup the past 4 seasons, and now as the future starting quarterback for the 49ers. All right, thanks again for joining us, Dan. We've got, of course, this big news, the trading deadline, which, by the way, for the first time, the NFL trading deadline was actually exciting, Dan.
It was. There was a little action this time around, and, hopefully it will help all the teams. But I think some of the guys were disgruntled, and then Bill Belichick didn't want to pay the tab next year for Garappolos because he knows who his quarterback is. So
yeah, that's
there
true.
We are.
Yeah, and who knows? But and they have Brian Hoyer now as the backup, veteran backup in case Brady misses a few games here and there. It is what it is. But by the way, we would now remember we were talking on one of the other shows about the Steelers looking at somebody like Mason Rudolph. Well, now maybe the Patriots take a look at somebody like Mason Rudolph because you got to believe there's absolutely no doubt that they're going to be drafting a quarterback, knowing that in 2 or 3 years this time that quarterback, as long as he's the right guy, will be the guy that will take over for Brady.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. I think that's a very realistic possibility, but unless Belichick's going to move up, he may not see him anyway, because I think he's probably going to go a little higher than some people think.
All right, so we'll talk more about all of those quarterbacks and, of course, the NFL draft for many months between now and April. But this is about Garapolo and the Niners. So let's get back to a few key points from your report in the 2014 guide to the NFL draft. And first, you mentioned that Garapolo majors in quick wide receiver screens, slants, hitches, and seam posts. Knowing the type of scheme, then, that head coach Kyle Shanahan likes to run, how well should Garapolo fit in San Francisco?
Well, since he got out of his college scheme, obviously being in a pro-type offense, it really helped him up at New England. And I tell you, one thing, he still has that quick release. I mean, I graded him during preseason games, and when he did play, and then a couple of games he played before he got hurt. And I think that, that might be, because he's not despite the fact he's about 225, 226 pounds, he looks a little more slender. So
yeah,
I think
he does.
that injury history may be the thing more than anything. But I tell you, he gets that ball out so quickly, and he's so accurate. Those two things, and plus he's smart. He's going to go to the right guy. So I think, the 49ers would be wise to get him on the field and let him run a little bit of that offense. And I understand that, they're struggling that offensive line, especially last game. And so they probably brought Beathard in for maybe he's the meat guy,
Yeah.
So, but we'll see.
But you don't see any issues at all with Garapolo, with the major differences between a Josh McDaniels offense and a Kyle Shanahan offense that would throw him off, because we're even hearing now the latest that Shanahan came out and said, I can't promise you guys that he's going to play this year, which I don't know where that comes from. But you would think that has to do with a learning curve of some sort.
Yeah, I tell you, I don't know. They run the West Coast type offense, so with the Shanahan edge to it, that majors in running. So to me, Greg, you look at some of these rookie quarterbacks, how they've done. They've come in and, whether it's Dak Prescott or Deshaun Watson,
yep,
or whether it's Carson Wentz, are you telling me that Garapolo can't come in after a couple of weeks of practice and do something because he's been a pro? So,
that's right.
That might be a smoke screen. And I don't know if Garapolo would have went there if he knew he wasn't going to play.
All right. Now, look, you also wrote that Garapolo needed time to learn the pro style. So he's been able to sit and learn from the best. So knowing that and I'm sure that you couldn't be a fortune teller 4 seasons ago to know that this would be his situation and until he finally gets an opportunity to be the starter. So now, how do you like his chances to be a successful starter?
Well, believe me, it's like anything else in the guys that we talked about, with Watson and Dak and Wentz. They've all at least had some protection. Now, I know Houston they're kind of up and down in their offensive line, and we'll see in the next few weeks if Watson can keep it up. But, that's the big thing. You got to at least have a chance to get the ball off. Now, if you can't run the West Coast offense. I mean, you've got to be able to, if you take from the shotgun and then just like Brady did, get that ball out. And then they might incorporate some of the best things of the New England offense. And that's one thing about coaches. They're great imitators, and they all study everybody else's film. And so I'm sure Kyle Shanahan knows all about that, the offense that up in New England. And so they'll incorporate some of those things. And which is really good for Garappolos because he can get that ball out so quickly, and That's what Tom Brady did. Tom Brady doesn't have a great offensive line by any stretch, man. But you know what? They're smart. They get in the way, and they can hold it for 2 seconds or just under, and then he can get the ball off.
Yeah, it's amazing how fast Brady gets the ball off. It's so frustrating for defenders that look like they're just about to get him. And then he just gets that ball off. Not only get it off, he usually completes the pass. Okay.
Yep.
What should 49ers fans now? Look, we would imagine at some point we're going to see Garappolos. So this season. So what should 49er fans be looking for in his mechanics once he's out there that could either give them hope or concern that he's ready to be the man?
Well, I think the big thing is that, of course, you've got to have some receivers that give you a chance too. But he has the thing that people are going to like is he's extremely accurate, and he's got a fast ball type delivery. I mean, he gets it out of there. He's got the quick synapse from his brain to his hand there, and he sees it. He'll get the pre-snap read. He'll see it, and bam, it's out. So, and that gives you a chance because the longer you hold it, bad things can happen. And but I think that the fans will see a very smart guy, a guy with an extremely quick release, and he has some mobility too. I mean, he's not as stiff. He can outrun Tom when Tom is just a tall, lanky old guy that knows how to play the game and improved his game. And I think that's what you'll see. Garappolos, he will improve because he saw how Tom worked, and because really when Garappolos came out of college, he was more talented than Tom Brady. And I saw Tom. Tom was in my area when I was with the Eagles, and I liked Tom. And of course, I gave him a higher grade than most people did. I gave him a 4th round grade, and I guess I undershot him a little bit. But he was always a guy that worked really, really hard and was very, very competitive. And I think you'll see that from Garappolos, that he's very competitive too. And that's really why he wanted to leave New England. He wants to run his own show.
As well he should. He deserves it with the quarterbacks that we've seen in this league. And it's a real shame that we're not getting an opportunity to see A.J. McCarron either, but that's a different story. All right. So finally, Dan, do you think the 49ers, based on the decision that was made, did they make the right decision?
Well, I think so, because technically now, the quarterbacks are coming out next year. They're going to be behind. And you don't know. I mean, we felt good about, Dak Prescott, as you know,
yep.
And Watson was our second-rated quarterback last year, and we had some concerns there about his inaccuracy. And people misconstrue things. They think that because you throw the ball within the big radius of the quarterback or the wide receiver, that's being accurate. I call accurate putting the ball right between the numbers out there. And
Garappolos does that well, right?
Yes, and Garappolos does that perfectly. And so he has all the signs, and plus he had an apprenticeship under the greatest quarterback in NFL history.
And there ain't nothing better than that. Dan, I appreciate your time, your comments on Jimmy Garappolo. We look forward to talking to you again real soon.
Thanks a million.
Thank you, Dan. All right, so that's Dan Shonka. Again, Dan is going to be with us all the way through many more times from now to the NFL draft on these scouting section profiles. Don't forget to order a subscription of your choosing by going to the ourlads.com website. You can check out the 2018 Ourlads NFL Draft Preview brochure that's available right now. And also, keep in mind to check out ourlads.com for both the best NFL and college football depth charts in the industry. Thank you for tuning in to the Our Lads Football Radio Network.